Hey, Monk, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite movies, and today I'm going to be doing a movie review on a movie that I just finished watching like 15 minutes ago, and that movie is Monkey Man, which is produced, written, directed by, and starring Dev Patel. Yes. So I actually planned to watch Monkey Man way earlier this month, but I keep postponing it again and again and again, like I do with literally every movie ever, simply because I'm always way busier than I had expected. So unfortunately, I only watched this movie earlier 2 nights ago and then finished it earlier today. So Monkey Man is a directorial debut for British Indian actor Dev Patel, who you may know from movies like Slumdog Millionaire, which I absolutely love, and The Green Knight, which I also absolutely love. Dev Patel is really underrated as an actor, and it's interesting to see where he's going from here on out because, as a directorial debut, he decided to make an action thriller movie set in India where he tries to accomplish a few things. One is to connect to his Indian heritage by exploring a lot of folklore and religious elements of Hinduism, which I really like. I love religion in cinema. I think that's really cool. B is to sort of poke fun, or not poke fun, but more of a commentate on Indian politics, especially police brutality and the nationalist government. Now, these two things are pretty much achieved in this John Wick ish action thriller movie, and honestly, I had a fun time watching it. I thought it is a really fun, immediate, straightforward action movie, and there isn't really a lot to dislike about this movie because it is a pretty simple premise and it does its job well. It knows what it is and it does its job well. Now, the politics of this movie can be a little bit vague. Now, if you don't know this, the word on the street is that originally all the red colors in this film, the red flags and the red symbolisms, are supposed to be in orange because orange is the color of nationalism in India's nationalist party. But of course, that's a little controversial. That's not gonna fly. So after Jordan Peele hopped onto the project, all the orange became red, which means communist. So now suddenly the film is criticizing communism. So that made the politics of the film very vague. And I can also tell that essentially the villains are coded as villains. They're evil, they're super rich, and they hate normal civilians. There is no particular political jab in this film. It's not the kind of film where you can tell that Dev Patel is particularly criticizing one single person, even though assumptions can be made. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing because ultimately it is just a fun, crazy action thriller movie. It's not supposed to be political, but still, there's a little bit of politics here, but it's kept a little vague, so I wish more of that could be explored. Another complaint I have with this movie is actually the cinematography. It's not bad. But obviously, one thing is that it has so many close ups and it has so many blurry, shaky cam shots, and so many shots with very shallow depth of field that make the background very blurry to the point where there are so many moments in the film where I was just like, come on, just let me see the full picture. Let me see a wide shot where I would understand what's going on. Because it has so many close ups sometimes, it's a little bit limited. I feel like I'm being blocked in some sort of situation where I can't see the full picture. And I get that it's intentional, but it's just a bit tiring at times. Now for the good stuff. First of all, the action is awesome. I think a lot of the action sequences in this movie worked really well. They're really exhilarating. Every punch felt like a real punch. Every gunshot felt loud and clear. Every kick, every fall feel painful. They all hurt. It's very bloody, it's very crazy, it's very violent and gory, and I'm really glad that Dev Patel went all the way with the R18 rating. Second of all, during the press tour of this film, Dev Patel cited Bruce Lee and Sammo Hung as two major inspirations, which, I mean, come on. As a Hong Konger, I feel a little represented. I feel really, it's some good stuff. Good inspirations indeed. I also kind of like the music of the film. It's not, the score isn't great, but what I like is the use of music. The boxing ring scenes when Dev Patel plays the Monkey Man and had to fight another person in the boxing ring. In those scenes, I hear this drum beat, and I was like, wait, I've heard this before. Where have I heard this? Turns out it's the Handmaiden trailer. I don't know what piece of music this is, but I only know it as the music from the Handmaiden trailer. So that's pretty interesting. But it kind of worked. A little bit later in the last act, we have this huge fight, a humongous epic fight in this giant dinner hall. And the music is just these like smooth, watery guitars. It's very chill. And then suddenly a new group of people joined into the fight, and the music just switches into like thrash metal, which is such a fun switch up. So different pieces of music sort of accompany different action sequences to make each action sequence feel different. Obviously, there's a lot of John Wick-isms in this movie. Even the movie itself calls out John Wick as a reference. But I don't think this movie is that similar to John Wick. In comparison, John Wick feels way more clean and sterile. This movie is dirty, it's rough, and I really like that. But even so, I don't think the story is like that great or anything. There are certainly a couple of characters that I wish I would see more, understand more. There's this alpha character who is a master of a temple, the temple where Dev Patel's character healed in the second act of the movie, and I feel like there's a whole lore behind the building of that temple, and also some trans representation, but again kept very vague. But some gender politics mixed in there somewhere. It's just kept a little muddy and vague. There's this Alfonso character who is obviously a comedic relief who shows up for a little bit and then doesn't really show up for the rest of the movie. I understand that it doesn't make sense for him to be a part of the fight. I just want to see more of him because he's just this annoying but also entertaining guy. But overall, this is not a bad movie. I recommend it if you want to watch some gory, bloody action, and Dev Patel fighting, and that's it. Yeah. Kind of giving this film like a decent to strong 7 out of 10. So, have you watched Monkey Man? Comments below, let me know, subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching.